so often we decide, okay, the recordings, everything is there, we can practice, but you know, the curriculum would be
Mm.
so dynamic that we'll be discussing about one service, and the domain changes, the conversation changes, and it is very difficult to keep a track of what happened like 10 days back.
No, no, I definitely this
Yeah,
point with this experience, I know that, if
yeah,
if I'll not practice, the money is going to go waste. So, and the time, yours and mine
absolutely.
both. So
No, that's fine.
so don't
My
worry,
time
I'll
will not go waste. My time will not go waste because you're already monetizing the time that I'm spending. But your time will have, your
I
time is of most priority here. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So I think we were all, so let's get started. So we were already started our discussion with security and all that stuff. See, I think when the entire servers, systems, networks, everything used to be there on premise, the term shared responsibility was actually not there. Okay, so it was all about full responsibility. If there is something going wrong, the company where your services are hosted were held responsible. Okay, but
Hmm.
going forward, it's about the just like how you have software as a service, just like how you have everything as a as a utility that you can sell, resell, and earn money from. That is when the concept of you know the infrastructure as a service is also slowly have taken shape. That is when organizations have thought, okay, why to spend money in maintaining the infrastructure, organizing them, modifying them, patching the servers, maintenance, security profile personals, cooling systems, electricity. Why the hell do I need to do all these things? So that's what led to the complete transformation in cloud computing, because it has got a serious advantages to the table. It's not like there is a technology and everyone is venturing into that technology and we also have to be like the front runners, right? So which is what is happening with AI today. Okay, so AI today is more like going by the trend, or going by it's a peer pressure. It's a Companies are investing because there is a peer pressure. Oh, Oracle is investing $1 billion. Oh my God, then let me invest $2 billion. Then let me invest $4 billion. Then let me invest $10 billion. So that's actually hype, But cloud computing was not hype, because cloud computing comes with, it's a carefully trodden system where everyone were able to see the advantages that it was bringing to the table. Okay, but the main part of cloud computing, because cloud computing, yeah, definitely it has changed the way how we get the servers, deploy applications and all that stuff. But the major people that actually got involved, or the new roles that actually got created, I mean, I'm not talking about the basic roles like cloud architect and all that stuff, but the security architecture is also one of the most important thing in cloud security, because understanding who is responsible for what is definitely a change compared to the traditional uh, in-house data center model. Okay, because there is no security, with their people. Okay, what is security? Security is like security personnel, because you take the entire ownership and it is only available within the network of your entire system. So you need not actually need so many security engineers in the setup of your own. Okay, so let's say if there is in your home or in your community, you don't need to have so many security systems because it's just within your people. But when you actually go out, when you have so many other people coming in, like school, like a restaurant, like a mall, you need more security parameters, you need more kind of a things, so because so just because there's so much of outsourcing involved there. So the same reason here. So the moment when you say, okay, the infrastructure is yours, but it is not there at your end, it is there in someone's end, right? So that is where the word shared responsibility was coined, right? So what is the responsibility that cloud provider offers you, and what is the responsibility that you are responsible for deploying the applications onto the systems, right? So this is where the roles have been created. because it's very difficult for organizations to understand. Oh, okay. I used to control everything. Now you're saying that the infrastructure is mine, but I cannot control everything. Okay, I can only control what is there with me. Okay, so then I need a different thought process. I need a different perspective, because when client comes and says, oh, there is a violation. Okay, it's very natural for people to fight with each other. No, the service based organization which is offering that service will say, no, no, it is not my problem, it is AWS problem. And AWS will say, first of all, it will ask, who the hell are you? Because it will have 1 million plus clients with its under its portfolio. So it's very difficult. So that is where, how do you get the clarity? So what I'm trying to say is, if you read between the lines, who is going to give the clarity? Okay, for what reason the issue has occurred? It's very difficult for anyone to figure it out. So I'm assuming with your experience, you always have your peers and all that stuff, and it's very, I mean, let's say there is a job which is given to two of your people. Okay. Now let's say it didn't turn out to the way that it has planned for, you know. So definitely it is not so common for someone to say, yeah, this is the problem that has occurred before because of me. I mean, if someone is very straightforward and they're very humble, they will accept it. But let's say in today's environment, especially in our corporate workspace, they'll say, no, no, मैं अपना काम किया वो, I don't know, I am not saying that it's the issues with the other person, but it's the issues not with me. Right. I hope you are there. Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. I'm here. Share responsibility model. I completely understand. We'll give you a house to stay, but you have to, make sure you are responsible for your own security. I understand.
Absolutely. So I think so. This is what you see. The old premises, if you see on the left hand side, the data, application, operating system, virtualization, hardware, network, physical security, everything. There's only one person or one organization or one entity that was responsible. But in the cloud, you see it is like 60-40 model. And this keeps on changing with the way of how you are choosing the models. So if you just regularly go for an infrastructure as a service, so let's take a VM. So in a VM, what the AWS, what the customer manages, it could be your code that you insert into your virtual machine, and the firewall settings that you will expose, what is the port you expose, what is the port that you don't expose, and the operating system that you choose. Okay, so these are the things that the customer manage. But who will manage about the physical security? It's AWS. Who will manage your
AWS.
compute, storage, databases, the availability of them, the SLAs, SLOs? How will you arrive at all those things? AWS. Using AWS only, you will arrive at all those things. Where the networking will stay, networking also will be in the AWS, because that is where,
AWS.
no, all these people are laying the undersea cables and all that stuff. So the network is with them, not with you. Only thing is, you have to integrate your network, your company's network with them. That's a different story. But yeah, everything is managed by AWS. Okay, in a virtual machine, at max, you will manage the application's code which you insert into the virtual machine, the operating system of it, because that you have to choose what is the operating system, and the firewalls, what is the port that you allow and you not allow. So these are the only things that you can manage. So any issue.
Policy
Hmm, hmm.
policy is what I'll decide,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
how tight or how fine tuned I want the things to be. That will be up to me.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
rest, they'll give me all the weapons. How to use them, it'll be up to me. In short, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you'll have to clearly figure it out. There should be a tracing that has to be done, because uh, you're logging, the way how you are tracing. I am assuming you understand the word tracing. It's like root cause analysis. It's like RCA that you put on it. Very clearly we
Yeah.
need to call out, okay, is this issue coming out of applications code? Then the customer is responsible. Is the issue coming out of networking, or issue is coming because of the infrastructure being down at the AWS end? Then the AWS is responsible. Okay. So
Right.
yeah, have you ever,
Triage.
sorry?
Triage. Like very
Yeah,
exactly, Vinesh.
exactly.
Right? Hmm.
Exactly. Yes, yes. So
Sorry, you were asking something, huh?
have you ever heard about Gartner, no? Gartner is a very good
Mm-hmm.
organization that does this
Hmm.
service and all. And interestingly, actually, this the client has told me, actually. So my client told, so you know, so so it was just completely a different conversation. I mean, it's a very close client for our organization, and I was
Mhm.
having a conversation like, so he has a habit of interviewing, with it, so with their own, some of their experienced SME panel, before handing over the keys to, some people who might be joining new. There will be attritions, right? Whom we place, change, move to a
Mhm.
different project for billability and all that stuff. So whenever new folks comes, they do it in a very, in a fashion where it unnecessarily waste our time, just to get the VM. They'll ask us to go through certain processes, do take some surveys, takes some form of quizzes and all that stuff. So casually we had certain conversation, so why is that you're very, because he was there with for us for so long and giving a good business, and he really respects me, and I also have a huge respect for him. But anyhow, so I mean, because you can always ask, how did you ask this to client actually? So that is why I'm trying to build up the story before that. So I just asked him, why do you do this process entirely for everyone? Because it's not like, every 1 month there will be some people coming in joining, and every time you do this, it just waste our time. It just adds the hours to the backlog, so because ultimately the company has to pay out of their operating margins, so
True.
then he says, then he told me, this happened like 1 year back. He told, in last 1 year, 99% of the cloud 99% of the cloud issues are caused by customer itself.
Oh,
99% of the cloud issues. And so he just said that, and then he said, okay, then the conversation was different. Then when I researched and figured out, okay, so what is the impact for 1 minute of downtime? Okay, what is the cost for 1 minute of downtime, let's say? Okay, so we'll just see, so you can read this article, if you just write cart. Yeah, see it. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel AI is listening to everything. I just typed Gartner there. I have never searched about that, in my entire
hmm.
thing. I don't know how it just picked up. I'm not sure. Okay.
It does. It does. I tell you. Even
Yeah.
the Alexa, she listens to everything.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that homicide incident?
Yeah. Yeah. I did. Yeah. My God.
Ah, okay.
Technology is very scary, actually. Yeah.
Dishonest, I would say.
Hmm. Dishonest, yeah. Right. So you see here, Gardner predicted that, yeah, it was last year, right? So Gardner predicted through 2025, 99% of the cloud security failures will be customers' fault. With, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there is an IBM, yeah. So with almost all breaches resulting directly from preventable user misconfigurations rather than flaws in the cloud platform itself. You know, so
True.
whether it is,
Very true.
yeah, exposed storage buckets, IAM roles, unrestricted network access, so everything is related to security. It's like, so maybe some role being misconfigured, some additional permission being granted, or some access, see, over privileged IAM roles, or something
Uh-huh.
that you are exposing to the public which you should not, you have not added a rule in the network. These are the issues that are resulting in the loss of business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is why, this cloud security is very, very important. Now you see, we are 2025 means cloud security, cloud has come in 2008. So how many years? 10 plus 7, 17 years.
18,
Yeah,
7.
18 years running. In 18th year, you are saying that 99% are still customers' fault. 18th year of the technology, right?
Very
And you
true.
see, I mean, cost of one down, cost of 1 hour of downtime of cloud. How much business? Yeah, see, roughly 1 million to 5 million per hour.
Per
Okay.
hour.
It's a multi-billion dollar business that is impacted because of this cloud outages, Rahul. Right. So why I'm saying is, this is your story why we need cloud security. why the security of the cloud is of utmost important, and why these cloud security engineers or architects, whomever you want to call them, why they are paid so heavily is because of this.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right,
जब
and
तक
it's
सब
very
सही चल रहा है तब तक चल रहा है. जिस दिन फटा
exactly.
तो उस दिन गया.
Exactly. See, now the future is, anyhow, saying with this AI also coming in, actually now most of the clients and most of the organizations are saying it's not about, AI, because we have done the same mistake with the cloud, that someone is getting certified in cloud and we place them in projects. But now it's not
Hmm.
like you get certified somewhere and you do AI and all. You need to know AI security first. तब जाके हम
That,
डिप्लॉय करेंगे तो आपको प्रोजेक्ट्स में, बिकॉज नाउ इंडस्ट्री हैज लर्नड, अच्छा हम क्लाउड के लिए ऐसा, जस्ट बिकॉज देयर इज अ बिजनेस हम ऐसा कर लिए हैं, अभी एआई के लिए वो गलती नहीं करना चाहिए. हुएवर इज वेरी गुड विद एआई, सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द एआई अच्छा है, उन्हीं को प्लेस करना चाहिए.
exactly, exactly.
Right. So it is very simple, like how to identify, remembering this app code firewall and all is fine, but remembering, I mean, is can become quite difficult sometimes. But for you, I mean, or for anyone, these prepositions is should be really easy. So please remember this term: security in the cloud, customer is responsible. What happens inside the cloud, you are on the only one responsible. Security of the cloud, I mean, what happens for the service that is present in the cloud or present across the cloud, or that is something that is offered by the cloud provider. Security of the cloud is completely the responsibility of the AWS itself, or the cloud provider
AWS.
itself. Yeah. Security in the cloud, that means what you deploy inside your cloud, what you deploy in the VM, what you deploy in the stuff, what are the options that you choose. Whatever that is configurable by the user, you are the responsibility of it, of any issue that is arising out of it. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is how things are actually placed. Yeah. Okay. There is a issue in the API key. Who is responsible? You are the responsible, because who created that API key? You have created the
Uh-huh.
API key. And you would have created some misconfigurations because of which the escalation has happened. Yeah.
App development team, most likely.
No, no,
API.
no, not just app development. App development would be related to the application. Okay, but who is going to
Mhm.
deploy that application? The DevOps people are going to deploy the application. Who is going to test
Okay.
the application? Yeah, QA testing team could be responsible. The deployment team could be responsible. Or if, see, generally, yeah, but your assumption is right, because mostly the changes that happen to the system is generally the application, because application is the one that gets updated with one version to the other versions and stuff, because
Okay.
infrastructure and all you would have already created beforehand, right? So if there was an
Mhm.
issue, you would have received that issue long back, unless there is some kind of a threat or some kind of a new system that really posed as a vulnerability. That's a different story. But yes, your
Mhm.
assumption was right, because mostly the systems are always or already created. You just release new versions in those kind of systems. So it's very natural for anyone to figure out that, yeah, most of the issue can come out of because of the new version that is going for the application. But not just that, it could be anything. It could be a new configuration. You're moving from one system to the other system and you have not configured that well. Now it's the era of hybrid cloud computing. Now people are not going with just one cloud, because अभी एआई का डिमांड ज़्यादा हो रहा है, एंड एक क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर आपको कभी सर्विस बेच ही नहीं सकता, बिकॉज उसके पास खुद वो सर्विस का एग्जॉशन हो चुका होगा. तो न सारा क्लाउड
Mhm.
प्रोवाइडर अभी मिलके आ रहे हैं एआई के लिए, बिकॉज अभी एक दो डेटा सेंटर से काम नहीं चलेगा. सारा डेट you have so many data centers around the world, and they all have to be interconnected, because to support the AI demand, that is the future.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless such a thing happens, or new change in migration kind of a thing happens, mostly it is to do with the application data, and uh, yeah, and the way how you deploy. That is where most of the issues might arise. But yes, issues can arise of because of any changing roles, because roles also get changed when you move to a new service, or when the new version of the service itself has come, the roles have to get updated. So during that time also the issues can happen.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, this IAM, anyhow, you are already aware of it. So we have created users groups, and roles already.
Yep.
uh, yeah. So there are two different kind of things. One is authentication and authorization. Authentication is like, you creating a IAM username and password for authenticating yourself, so that you log into the platform. But in order to access the service and create some service, I mean the virtual machine or whatever it is out of it, you need authorization. So that is about giving a role or a permission to your user. So
User.
there are two different things: authentication and authorization. And please remember that the best practice in IAM is always the principle of least privilege. Okay.
Oh,
You-
yeah. PLP,
yeah,
yes.
you should give, yeah, you should PLP, yeah. So you should give the permissions only for what that is required, not in addition. Okay. And there is something called as MFA. So now MFA has become part and parcel of our lives, so whatever
Yep.
that service that you choose, it's MFA. Because MFA is not because it's, so many people think that, okay, देखो, अभी मेरा पर्सनल अकाउंट है, सब लोग यही कहते हैं मेरा पर्सनल अकाउंट है सूर्या, क्यों मुझे एमएफए करना है, मुझे एमएफए नहीं करना है, बिकॉज हु विल यूज माय पर्सनल अकाउंट, उसमें मेरा वो फ्री क्रेडिट्स का पड़ा है जो मैं खुद यूज नहीं करूंगा, तो why that I have to keep an MFA? Because MFA is needed for compliance purpose,
Yeah.
right? So
And
MFA is mainly for compliance, not just
and
for
Surya,
security. Yeah,
these days, it's very easy to get somebody's passwords, and MFA is the only thing standing between them.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
It is the only thing standing between the, getting an access to account and the password. That's what I understand.
Yeah. So that is a high level thing. That's a high level thing what
Mm.
you just said. So just imagine, देखो, आप देखो, ये अपना, see, you can say that it's a personal account, you can say that this is that and all. One thing is, see, we are working in a public cloud kind of a system. It's not a private cloud. Okay, if it's a
Ah.
private cloud, then you don't need MFA, but it's a public cloud. उसका मतलब क्या है? देखो, अगर आप कुछ वर्चुअल मशीन क्रिएट करोगे अपना अकाउंट से, मैं कुछ वर्चुअल मशीन क्रिएट करूंगा अपने अकाउंट से, there could be some similarity in you and me. I mean, something like, you and me can be given virtual machines from the same servers, actually, from the same hardware. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have not configured MFA, let's say your credentials are compromised in some or the other way, people can get to
Hmm.
your virtual machine and they can be a threat to me.
Okay.
आप समझ रहे हो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
बिल्कुल.
Yeah, so because the hardware is same, right? देखो, अगर let's say AWS के पास 8 GB and 8 CPU and 32 GB का मेमोरी है, तो आप एक
Hmm.
वर्चुअल मशीन 1 CPU and 4 GB memory you have taken. I have taken 1 CPU 4 GB memory. Let's say both of us are virtualizing from the same hardware. Okay, and your credentials are compromised. Through your system, they can
Hmm.
get into the root hardware using malware. Okay, and
Wow.
through that they will be able to get to me,
Hmm.
राइट? सो दैट इज वाई आप एमएफए नहीं कॉन्फ़िगर करोगे ना अपने एडब्ल्यूएस को, आपको रिमाइंडर्स आते ही जाएगा, 7 दिन तक रिमाइंडर आएगा, फिर बोल देगा कि हम लॉक कर रहे हैं आपके अकाउंट को, हम कितना आपको भेजा आपने सुने नहीं, तो हम लॉक कर रहे हैं अकाउंट को, because so they feel that it's a threat and that's a compliance, so अगर वो नहीं का वो मैंडेट करेंगे तो उनको कॉम्प्लायंस नहीं मिलेगी तो उनको क्लाइंट्स नहीं आएंगे, बिकॉज हेल्थ केयर क्लाइंट्स ये सारा क्लाइंट्स हैं, तो फॉर देम सिक्योरिटी इज एवरीथिंग, बिकॉज देखो, बैंकिंग एंड द अदर बैंकिंग अब तक वो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग पूरा उन्होंने एम्ब्रेस नहीं किया है, बिकॉज दे फील लाइक so much of data is very
Hmm.
is very private to us and private to users and all that stuff. But yeah, slowly now
Hmm.
they're embracing it, but still they do it in their own clouds actually, and they always
Hmm.
have a
Their
different setup.
infra.
Exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
right. So always we should have MFA, and we should never work it out on the root account. We should always create a user accounts and work it through them.
Hmm.
Create the user account, give admin access, and then you use them. Don't work on the root accounts, because the root account is like super admins.
सुपर एडमिन. वो गया, सब कुछ गया.
हो गया, सब कुछ गया, exactly. Yeah. So now let's get into understanding of the services, because these are the services we will start discussing from the next session. Okay.
Hmm.
So the first thing, the first part of your security is CCTV. Okay. अगर आपका apartment में, आपका community में, ठीक है,
Hmm.
there is a situation, if there is an issue, the first thing anyone will ask is CCTV footage है आपके पास? Yeah. Or
Hmm.
anything
Hmm.
nearby your community, something has happened. Yeah, पुलिस है जो भी है, पूछेंगे अच्छा इन कम्युनिटी के पास कैमरा है, वहां से कुछ कैप्चर हो सकता है, उनका फुटेज लेके आओ, और सब एटीएम का फुटेज लेके आओ, so because
Hmm.
CCTV is, yeah, so because CCTV is like very important, it really, and I'm sure you see in the next 3 4 years, the entire CCTV revolution will begin. All the people, they will update their softwares, or probably they will change their CCTVs, because now the AI has reached the watchman level also. Because now, okay, CCTV is like a passive monitoring system, because you
Right.
cannot capture incidents in real time, na? It's like passive
Mm-hmm.
system, yeah, because CCTV is more like pattern matching.
Mm-hmm.
राइट बिकॉज ईसीटी आपको क्या देखो अगर वो you can never find out so let's say, see, the problem with CCTV is, if a situation has happened, then for post-mortem analysis, who is finding the culprit and all, it is good, but it cannot
It is
stop
good.
the incident from happening, right?
It's not preventive. It can be
Yeah.
deterrence, but it is not something that will, stop
Exactly,
some things from
exactly,
happening. Hmm.
exactly, exactly. But just imagine the scenario that the CCTV is watching everyone who is coming near your house and all. So
Hmm.
let's say in 1 week it says, Rahul, everything seems normal, but I'm observing certain patterns, that there is this guy or this guy who is dropping the newspaper near your gate, but he's checking the lock multiple times, and I've seen it at least 4 or 5 times in the last
Wow.
3 days. So do you
Right.
my advice is to please keep a tab, or be careful
Mm-hmm.
with what it is. Just imagine that kind of intelligence coming in,
Absolutely. This
right?
sounds very important.
Yeah, exactly. So that is where the experimentation is happening. All the CCTVs now, they are having an ML algorithms and models working across, so that they can work through the patterns, they can work on their own feed what they are recording, and they can start alerting the user direct. Yeah. So it will say, yeah. So it's a whole lot of concept. That's a different story. We'll not get there. But yeah. So guard duty, anyhow, why I have taken that example is guard duty is like CCTV for your entire cloud. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
guard duty is like a CCTV with an ML intelligence. So guard duty will not quickly say whether this machine is safe or not. Okay. It will observe the patterns. The nature of guard duty is it will observe the patterns, and then it will keep alerting you. Oh yeah, this Rahul, he's trying to,
Alerts. Yeah.
yeah, he's trying to access the service which he's not having access to. He's already seen that message twice, but still he's trying to reach to that service,
Mm-hmm.
right? Something like that. We will get that alerts directly over to our email. So guard duty is like a very good intelligence system that AWS has got, and many of the other cloud providers are trying to replicate that, and it is going to be very powerful in future, right? So but don't think that अच्छा guard duty है तो security engineer की जरूरत ही क्या है, because ये खुद एक security engineer है, राइट? बट
No.
लेकिन ये
Well,
गार्ड ड्यूटी को ऑर्केस्ट्रेट कैसे करना है, इसका लॉग्स पढ़ना कैसा है, तो वो तो पता होना चाहिए। ये ह्यूमन रीडेबल फॉर्मेट में थोड़ी देता है, ये कुछ जेसॉन फॉर्मेट में देता है, कुछ PKPR फॉर्मेट देता है, एंड only a security engineer can analyze these and orchestrate multiple services of this. But I can tell you that you know security engineers का काम काफी हाई लेवल हो चुका है, and it is good for them, you know because now
mm-hmm.
understanding what's happening under the hood, there are some standard practices, Rahul, like application ko scan karo, then application ko SAST, they call it SAST, they call it DAST, and then penetration testing karo, stress testing karo, फिर कुछ ओपन सोर्स टूल्स होंगे, 45 होंगे, ब्लैक बक होगा, इन सब के टूल्स के साथ एनालिसिस रन करो, और वो रिपोर्ट्स देखो, देन उसके बाद उसको लाइव करो, राइट? उसके बाद अगर कुछ हुआ तो
Mm-hmm.
बाद में देखा जाएगा, पोस्टमार्टम एनालिसिस करते हैं, राइट? So these are all standard processes which are not at all cloud native, right? So security
Mm-hmm.
became cloud native only in 2024 or 2025 actually. Before that, security was not cloud native. It was the standard practices. You are just doing it on the cloud. It was just the
Right.
standard practices which was existing before. Only thing is you're doing it on the cloud. But they are not cloud native. Okay. Now these services which we are talking about is making the application cloud native, is giving a meaning to a cloud security engineer. नहीं तो पहले ना सिक्योरिटी
Hmm.
इंजीनियर और क्लाउड सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर का कोई रोल का डिस्टिंक्शन ही नहीं है। बिकॉज आप सिक्योर क्या करोगे, वो बोलेगा मैं एप्लीकेशन सिक्योर कर रहा हूँ सॉफ्टवेयर टेस्टिंग के थ्रू, और मैं टेस्ट केसेस चेक कर रहा हूँ, या मैं 45 में स्कैन रन कर रहा हूँ, या कुछ ये क्या बोलते हैं ऐप सेक में मैं स्कैन रन कर रहा हूँ, जैप स्कैन में स्कैन रन कर रहा हूँ, सिक्योरिटी में दे हैव नॉट गिवन एनी सिक्योरिटी वल्नरेबिलिटीज, मैं लाइव कर रहा हूँ, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग इट टू द डिप्लॉयमेंट टीम टू मेक इट लाइव बिकॉज देयर इज नो सिक्योरिटी वल्नरेबिलिटीज।
Mm-hmm.
ये स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस है। इसमें क्लाउड की क्या जरूरत है? तू तो वो सिक्योरिटी कैन स्कैन कभी भी कर सकता है ना, वो तो ऑन प्रेमिस में भी तू डिप्लॉय करने के लिए वो कर सकता है। तो हाउ कैन
हम्म
यू कॉल योरसेल्फ अ क्लाउड सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर, right? The
हम्म
cloud security engineer, you should be testing the security of the cloud, not actually your application. Your application is just one part. How do you secure test your roles? IAM roles that you've created, उसको security test आप कैसे करोगे? आपके पास 1000 रोल्स रहेंगे, 1000 रोल्स को एक एक जाके आपको परमिशंस पढ़ोगे क्या? Right?
ट्रू,
So who
वेरी
is
ट्रू।
accessing your system? Who is managing your system? Where are you seeing all these things, and how are you reading it? How are you making a decisions? कैसे होगा? नहीं कर सकते आप, right? So the year of 2024 2025 actually has created cloud security engineers. Before that, cloud security engineers was just a designation.
आई मीन चेकलिस्ट टाइप्स
चेक
फॉलोइंग
टाइप से,
पीपल,
हाँ
राइट?
एग्जैक्ट, उसके लिए क्लाउड की जरूरत ही नहीं है। वो काम, वो तो बिना क्लाउड को भी वो चेकलिस्ट वो कर सकता है ना। आई मीन,
हम्म।
यू गॉट इट राइट एक्चुअली।
CCSK वाला सर्टिफिकेशन वही तो है।
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता वो करने से अभी। एंड यू सी everyone, when the railway digitization happens, or the airplane digitization also, when it happened, many people thought they would lose their jobs, because of
हम्म।
routing system, mapping system सब खत्म हो गया। लेकिन अभी वो देखो, वो सेम पीपल काम कर रहे हैं उसके वो डैशबोर्ड के ऊपर, एंड दे आर गेटिंग मोर इंटेलिजेंस, एंड द नंबर
या
ऑफ इश्यूज आर गेटिंग reduced a
रिड्यूस्ड,
lot, and they started to
वेरी ट्रू।
support more amount of trains on the same route. पहला क्या होता था भाई, अभी आपको दिल्ली से हैदराबाद जाना है तो मैक्स 1 ट्रेन 2 ट्रेन होते थे।
हम्म,
अभी दिन में 5-6 ट्रेन रन कर रहे हैं ऑन द सेम रूट, और ऐसा है
वेरी ट्रू,
बीच में जो भी रास्ते हैं वो आसपास कहीं और सिटीज में कनेक्टेड होते हैं। हाउ आर यू एबल टू डू मैनेज दोस मेनी थिंग्स, दोस मेनी ट्रेन्स रनिंग ऑन द सेम ट्रैक? दैट इज वेयर इंटेलिजेंस मैटर्स, right?
वेरी ट्रू,
So you
वेरी
are
ट्रू।
able to do it on scale, so it is giving you an empowerment to do more. So that is the way to look at it. Yeah. All right, so that's about guard duty, as I said. So it goes through your entire patterns, who is logging in, what changes is making, which service is accessing what. So across the AWS account, one good thing is you don't need to do anything here. Just go there, enable the service, and just watch out for the alerts that guard duty generates. Okay, so it's like a centralized. It's not centralized. Centralized intelligence is something else. But yes, guard duty's job is to check the logs, check the account level accesses and stuff, and alert you if there is some pattern that is, that it thinks that it is not right. So that is guard duty for you. Okay. All right. So that's all about guard duty. And the next thing is you have something called as inspector. Okay. So inspector is more like a vulnerability management tool. Okay. So vulnerability management tool मैंने क्या होता है? देखो अभी तक क्या, I mean अभी तक आप देखो, जब आप when you go to AWS, okay, AWS का ये मानना होता है कि देखो, वो कस्टमर को जब ऐसा ऐसा सेल करता है, इफ यू हैव AWS you don't need to have anything else. ठीक है? तो vulnerability management today still relies on so many third party softwares. Okay, whether it is CodeQL, whether it is SAST, whether it is Sonar Cube का आप सुना ही होंगे. Okay, so
Only know by the name, but not like.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. You might have heard the name. That's so popular name. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah. So all these are nowhere related to the cloud. Still, people use those things because they already would have partnerships. Already, they would have licenses with that, and they're just doing it. Okay. So now, when you are deploying your code in the virtual machine of the AWS, why is that some third party software has to certify whether it is safe to continue or not? The AWS should be able to say whether it is safe to continue or not. Okay, so when you are pushing software code into your virtual machine, you need to get some analysis done quickly so that it is safe to host there or deploy it. Okay, so that is where Amazon Inspector is coming into the picture. So Amazon Inspector is a vulnerability management tool, whether it is to scan your repository, whether it is to scan your virtual machine, whether it is to scan your containers, or the code inside the containers, or the code inside your virtual machine. You can immediately do the scanning using Amazon Inspector. Okay, so Amazon Inspector will forever replace all other third party softwares that are running. So it is just going to be Amazon Inspector if at all your infrastructure is on cloud, or is on AWS. Okay. Yeah. All right,
Sure.
so it's all about testing out your code, scanning your code and your infrastructure. So that is about your inspector. And quickly if you want, because guard duty is not like अच्छा चलो उसको स्कैन करो. guard duty वो कभी नहीं करेगा. guard duty बोल रहा है तू मेरे से कुछ नहीं कर सकता, मैं वो
Hmm.
ऑटोमेटिकली मैं देखूंगा, अगर मुझे कुछ पता चला मैं आपको बोलूंगा. सो इट इज लाइक द अदर वे अराउंड. बट लेकिन मुझे स्पेसिफिकली ये डिस्क का स्कैनिंग चाहिए, तो देन यू हैव टू गो टू Amazon इंस्पेक्टर. ओके,
Okay. To like targeted scans.
exactly. So Amazon inspector is targeted. Guard duty is like you already said, it's like, I mean, it's not like a deterrence, but that is something which does scan on its own. It's more like pattern matching. It's more like the high level CCTV who just watches everyone and alerts you if it sees like something is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right,
Understood.
and the next one is, so there is something called as security hub. So security hub is like the centralized intelligence system, right? तो अभी आपको लगेगा अच्छा तो सूर्य मुझे गार्ड ड्यूटी में जाके उसके अलर्ट्स देखना पड़ेंगे, फिर मुझे इंस्पेक्टर में जाके उसके अलर्ट्स देखना पड़ेगा, राइट? देखो यार, ये इतना मैं नहीं देख सकता. मुझे एक डैशबोर्ड चाहिए जहां सारा अलर्ट्स एक 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 के बाद लिस्टेड हो वहां, so that I can prioritize, so that I can create my priority list and all that stuff. So that is where your AWS security hub comes into the picture. So AWS security hub is only for creating dashboards. Okay, it's like a centralized hub. So the findings coming from inspector can be dumped onto security hub. The findings coming from guard duty can be dumped onto security hub, right? So security hub is your centralized dashboard from where you can take actually the decisions. Okay, so that is security
Mhm.
hub for you. All right, yeah, it's a
Sure.
unified way of having all your findings together at one place.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what truly cloud native, this is something which you just go back and you ask your security engineers. I mean, if they have exposure to cloud, of course they will be able to say, but the regular security engineers को ये सारे चीज दिखेगा, अरे यार ये सब ऐसे ही करेगा तो मेरा नौकरी चले जाएगी. So they will be in their traditional mindset only. So okay, नहीं नहीं,
Hmm.
मेरे लिए तो स्कैन है, तो इसको स्कैन ये रिपोर्ट देना है और रिपोर्ट को मुझे डेवलपर को एक्सप्लेन करना है कैसे सॉल्व करना है. That is when I am putting my flesh into this entire workflow. लेकिन अब उनको बोलेगा भाई तेरा कुछ काम ही नहीं है, तुझे बस डिसीजन मेकिंग करना है, तो ही विल गेट वेरी इनसिक्योर ऑफ their roles. But that is different. So cloud native is, it's completely a different setup, and you definitely, if you read between the lines, you definitely don't need some many seasoned security engineers. But whomever you might be having as a cloud security engineer, you must be very much talented and they must be paid very highly.
They are actually, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So coming to Amazon Guard Duty. So what Amazon Guard Duty works with, as I said, it checks mostly the logs and the account level information in order to keep the patterns and judging the patterns and stuff. So these are the three data sources, Rahul. So one is CloudTrail. So we'll come to this service actually. So CloudTrail will have the account level information: who is logging in, who is accessing what, what is the who created VM, who created a machine, who deleted the machine. All the account level information this CloudTrail will store as logs. Okay, so your guard duty will take all those logs and perform analysis on top of it. That is one data source that is fed into this automatically. There's no need for you to do anything actually. Next is network level logs. So all the network level things, which port is being exposed, where the traffic is traveling from one point to the other table, what is route table, all those network related things, the internet gateway, where it is attached, all that stuff, will be fed into as again these will also be fed into as logs to guard duty as well. So the analysis will be performed on top of it. Okay, so account level activity, network level activity, and this is domain level activity. Okay, so from domain, are you reaching to the load balancer? What are the rules that you have given for your domain? Is HTTP traffic allowed or HTTPS is allowed? Okay, what is the port that is
Mhm.
being exposed? And what is the paths that should be cached? All that information will be dumped also into the guard duty. So only these three kind of logs. It's not like everything. So CCTV means it's not like everything. These are, so how, because there should be some see, it is not hallucinating any information, right? So who is feeding the information to guard duty based on which it can judge? These are the three sources: account level information, network level information, your domain and cache related information. So based on these three
Mhm.
information, it will try to find the patterns, and then it will try to give your findings, whether it is about malware protections, runtime monitorings, crypto mining, data exfiltration. So these are some of the common detections that it can perform. But yeah, so based on this information only, it can take the decisions. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So the next thing is inspector. As I said, inspector has three different sources. One is code security. So code security, you're already aware. If you want to scan your repository and find the vulnerabilities, then inspector is the best tool to do. And the container scanning, I mean, we'll learn about container as well. So Rahul, I hope you're interested to learn about containers and all that stuff. I'm sure
No, no,
containers
why not?
not part of the curriculum and all what I've shared. I'm not sure, but I hope you're absolutely comfortable going into a bit of technical things as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. That's the
I
whole
mean,
purpose I'm having
yeah,
these
yeah,
sessions.
in future,
Container
absolutely.
security is one of the hottest topic in my company.
That's great. That's great. Because for knowing container security, first of all, we should know what is container, how to build a container. Then only we'll understand, okay, this is how security is being compromised or impacted.
Okay, so
Hmm.
since we're talking about this, I
Sure.
think container is a so far I've been thinking the container is nothing but a virtual machine.
Hmm.
Am
No,
I
no,
right?
it's not. It's not. No, 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 no.
Okay,
Container is
okay,
not virtual machine. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, container is again built on the kernel of virtual machines. Okay, you can have multiple containers inside a virtual machine. Okay, so container
Mm-hmm.
uses a virtual machine to do the resource sharing. Okay, because see, let's say
Mm-hmm.
in the virtual machine, you see now I'm opening this Zoom meeting. Okay, can I have two Zoom meetings in the same virtual machine with the different versions? Can you have two Google Chromes with different versions installed in the same system?
No.
Right, because your virtual machine do not have the capability to differentiate. Okay, if I have the same Google Chrome with different versions, okay, so I don't understand, okay, where the user does comes, how do I do the software mapping, the packaging, it will never understand that. Your virtual machine does not have the capability to understand it, because you cannot say, okay, this application, you give this percentage of my memory, the other application give another percentage of my memory and CPU. You can never decide that actually. So virtual machine is like one wrapper. Inside that you do whatever you want for the memory limits that is available. But if you want to be
Mm-hmm.
very responsible of that memory limits, and you want to again split those things into a different uh, independent components, then that is the answer. That is how you can achieve it through containers. Okay, so container is actually a package. Okay, it's a package where your application code, where your infrastructure, sorry, where your software, and where your dependencies, they can all be packaged together, and they can be run as a different component inside one virtual machine itself. So Google Chrome version 1 you can package as one container, Google Chrome version 2 you can package as another container, and you can define the resource limits, how much resources of that VM should go to version 1, how much resources should go to version 2. Okay, so you can define that, you can split your virtual machine into different components, and you can run multiple containers. So that will help you in a better resource utilization, because sometimes you choose machines because you cannot run certain things on the same machine, because the virtual machine does not allow it. But using containers, that is possible. You can run multiple workloads in the same machine itself, and you don't need to create new virtual machines for every application that you run. So that is the power of containers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Now I'm excited to, deep dive into it.
sure, sure, no problem.
Because
Hmm.
I was wrong. I thought containers are nothing but the virtual machines where
No,
we
no.
can,
Containers are
tap
created
the
to answer
resources.
the disadvantage of virtual machines. राइट, एक
Oh,
सिंपल
okay.
एनालॉजी मैं बताता हूँ. देखो, अगर आपका दो वर्चुअल मशीन आप रन कर, आपको अच्छा EC2 आपने आपने बनाई नहीं ना वर्चुअल मशीन, तो देखो मैं जब बना रहा हूँ वर्चुअल मशीन, आप देखे ही होंगे ना.
हाँ, हाँ,
तो
बिल्कुल.
आपको वर्चुअल मशीन बनाने में कितना टाइम लगा, राहुल?
A few clicks.
हाँ, फ्यू क्लिक्स. जस्ट टेल मी इन द टाइम, लाइक 1 minute, 2 minutes, वट एवर इट इज.
2 minutes hardly.
2 minutes, ठीक है. अभी मैं आपको एक सिनेरियो बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है. अभी 2 वर्चुअल मशीन रन कर रहे हैं, एक वर्चुअल मशीन 100 यूजर्स तक ले सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो अभी आपके पास 100 150 यूजर्स हैं, राइट। सो यू हैव योर एप्लीकेशन रनिंग इन 2 वर्चुअल मशीन्स, ठीक है। तो योर सिग्नल पॉइंट इज एट 180, लाइक व्हाट आई मीन बाय सिग्नल पॉइंट इज आपको 180 यूजर्स रीच कर लेंगे तो आप सिस्टम को ऑटो स्केलिंग कर सकते हैं। You can say that you have to create another virtual machine, okay, if the people number of people reach 180. Am I clear till now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but because 180 तक रीच करने में क्या होगा, before the other 20 people comes you can create a new virtual machine because it takes time for 2 minutes, so that is why you kept it 180, okay. Yeah, so because beyond 200 it cannot reach. So
Okay.
let's say instead of, because अभी 150 के पास आप अभी 150 users already है, okay. So what is the guarantee that only 30 users will join uniformly? Because let's say something has happened, that's a Friday evening, and instead of 30 users, quickly 200 users join.
Mm-hmm.
आप स्केल कैसे करोगे? ठीक है, नहीं, बिकॉज द पॉइंट इज आप स्केल कर सकते हो, लेकिन पॉइंट इज आपको 2 मिनट तक रुकना पड़ेगा। बिकॉज
Mm-hmm.
वर्चुअल मशीन को स्केल करने के लिए आपको 2 मिनट टाइम लगेगी, right?
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
so so that is where these containers come into the picture, okay। तो मैं कंटेनर में एप्लीकेशन में कैसे रन कर सकता हूँ ताकि I will bring down further the 2 minutes timeline into something like 20 seconds, right? So that is what led to that problem, is what led to of creation of something called as containers, because there was microservices. Before microservices, container were existed but they were not popular, बिकॉज सारा अगर एप्लीकेशन मोनोलिथिक है तो आपको कंटेनर्स की जरूरत ही नहीं है। लेकिन जब माइक्रो
Mm-hmm.
सर्विसेज का एरा आया, सो पीपल स्टार्टेड सीइंग एडवांटेजेस ऑफ दैट, दैट इज व्हेन द कंटेनर्स हैव बिकम अ रेज एक्चुअली। सो
Okay.
yeah, we'll find about that, I have done, so deeper research into containers actually. All
Sure.
right, so
मजा आएगा.
so that is security hub. So you have threats coming from guard duty, vulnerabilities coming from inspector. So this is like a uniform finding. It's not just about inspector and guard duty, you have some other tools as well. So there is something called as an Amazon Macy. So Amazon Macy is also very important, so you must be also part of, some of the audits, so अब कंपनीज
Hmm.
में ऑडिट्स होते हैं इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का, क्लाइंट पूछता है ये ऑडिटिंग हुआ कि वो हुआ कि नहीं हुआ, एंड उसके ऊपर हमको कॉस्ट कटिंग भी करना पड़ता है या कॉस्ट सेविंग भी करना पड़ता है कभी कभी। तो ऑडिटिंग इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, सो बिकॉज how do you know whether your personal data is compromised or not? How do you ensure whether the data that is coming to you, you're not selling it outside? Right? So that is where
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Macy is coming into the picture. तो Amazon Macy में ऐसा आप कर सकते हैं, whatever data that is being collected, whether it is in your cloud storage systems, whether it is your virtual machines, whatever data that is being there, so are you using that data anywhere, or why can you alert, can you get an alert if someone enters their personal data? Can we get an alert? Because अभी देखो the future, because all these tools that I'm giving you, is all ML tools. They're all powered by ML, okay। अब इंस्पेक्टर
Mm-hmm.
इज ऑल्सो पावर्ड बाय ML, ठीक है। तो अभी आप कोड
Oh.
स्कैनिंग करोगे, ठीक है, कोड स्कैनिंग मैंने बोला था ना, इंस्पेक्टर में कोड स्कैनिंग कर सकते हैं। लेट्स
Uh-huh.
से वो कोड में कुछ पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन है, किसी का ईमेल आईडी है, तो वो कहाँ चला जाएगा?
Uh-huh.
वो उसका ML मॉडल के अंदर चला जाएगा
Mm-hmm.
और वो
Oh.
किसी और के ऊपर यूज कर सकते हैं, right? So it should not happen. Any information that is being fed to all these things, it has to be filtered. Personal data तो होना नहीं चाहिए। तो ये कौन हेल्प
Mm-hmm.
करेगा, राइट? सो बिकॉज आपको देखो, कोई ईमेल आया, कोई कुछ एक्सेल का इंफॉर्मेशन आया, हम क्या करते हैं, वो उसको PDF डाउनलोड करते हैं या एक्सेल का डाउनलोड करके बस चैट जीपीटी को भेज देते हैं, किसी को भेज देते हैं। See, nowadays there is no systems to identify that guy has actually violated all the norms. There is no proper system to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
इतना
but
DLP नहीं है strong.
एग्जैक्टली बिकॉज AI का भी वो सिस्टम्स बन रहे हैं, राइट? सो देखो
Hmm.
अभी वो प्रेशर है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आई टेल यू, नो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वांट्स इट्स एम्प्लॉयज टू यूज चैट जीपीटी ऑन द सिस्टम्स, बट व्हाई सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आर अलाउइंग इट? बिकॉज दे आर इन द प्रेशर। अगर मैं चैट जीपीटी भी अलाउ नहीं किया ना, मेरा वो बंदा डेवलप नहीं होगा,
Mm-hmm.
And all my workforce will be, all my competitors workforce will be doubled, will be a better prompt engineers, will be better AI enabled, because they are getting to work with the tools, मेरा नहीं होंगे, तो इसीलिए वो कभी कभी access दे दे रहे हैं अभी, but they don't actually want to give the access because of the security that is involved. Yeah, but it's the peer pressure they're doing. But it's very important is whatever information that we are copying, whatever information that we are pushing to these systems have to be make sure that इसका एक एक्सफिल्ट्रेशन करें, एंड इसका सारा जो भी पर्सनल डेटा है वो रिमूव करें, तब जाके वो प्रोसेस करे वो इन्फॉर्मेशन, राइट? तो व्हाट ऑटोमेटिकली कौन करता है, बिकॉज वी कैनॉट जस्ट फाइंड आउट एवरीथिंग इन अ डेटा सेट लाइक वेयर यू हैव 50,000 सैंपल्स, कौन करेगा वो पर्सनल चेकिंग वगैरह, राइट? तो उसके लिए हमारे पास है मेसी। ये में से ही हम पैटर्न्स लिख सकते हैं, राइट? तो लेट्स से आपका कंपनी का नाम ओरेकल है, at the rate of Oracle, wherever you find this email, just remove that from the email. और any references to the Oracle, देखो Oracle का एड्रेस आया, एड्रेस इस फॉर्म में होता है, पिन कोड्स होता है, राइट? जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है that you can also customize. It's not like all the inbuilt information only you can customize. All any of the other information which is not existing also you can customize, and you can create a pattern where it identifies the pattern among your data sets, among your virtual machines, among your storage systems, and it will filter out the data before sending it to any of the other ML models. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that is the power of Macy actually. Right. So I think that's about yeah, the exposure findings and all we will see. Yeah. And coming to the governance and compliance, Rahul, I think this will come at a later stage, but there are three different things as well for governance and compliance. That is, AWS artifact is there. So if at all you want to
Mm-hmm.
see, I mean, there's nothing like you have to do anything in addition here, but let's say, I mean, आपका client पूछेगा, आपके infrastructure के पास इस region में जो deploy किया है आपके infrastructure, इसके पास ये क्या बोलते हैं, या आई मीन HIPA is like something like a payment interface, I believe.
HIPAA. No. HIPAA
Sorry,
is
healthcare, yeah, healthcare,
healthcare.
healthcare, healthcare information. Yeah, healthcare information के लिए ये HIPAA is very important. I think payment के लिए PCS, yeah, PCDS. So I think for
PCI.
PCI, yeah. So for payment gateway, PCI is very important.
Mm.
For healthcare, the CPA is also very important. So people may ask, okay, can you show me the document that's proving the compliance is there for this particular infrastructure? So you can always go to AWS
Mm.
Artifact, and you can always download the information related to
Yeah.
that compliance. Okay,
Yeah.
and
We
वो
do that
update
every
करना
year.
है. Sorry.
We do that every year.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we
Exactly.
ask our security teams to give us
एग्जैक्टली, तो
those reports
ये
for
करने के
SOC
बाद
2
आपको
audit.
सिक्योरिटी टीम की जरूरत नहीं है। वही ना, वही कह रहा हूँ, ये अभी आर्टिफैक्ट अभी see now you know about this artifact, all you need is
Mm.
access to your AWS console. आपके AWS
Right.
कंसोल में, बिकॉज यहाँ सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर क्या करेगा, वो भी जाके डाउनलोड करके ही देगा ना, बिकॉज वो आर्टिफैक्ट तो वो नहीं बनाता है, आर्टिफैक्ट तो AWS बना के वहाँ अपडेट करते हैं। तो
Not
आपको बस
true,
पता
but
होना चाहिए वो फिल्टर कैसे करना है, वो ईयर का लाइसेंस वैलिड है कि नहीं, उसको डाउनलोड करके भेज देनी है क्लाइंट को बस।
true, but we don't have access to AWS in our corporate.
Yeah.
So we always put it on to them. Report निकाल के दे दो.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
Interesting.
So that is about AWS artifact anyhow. So now you understood अच्छा वो लोग करते क्या है. So many people think अच्छा ये कुछ इंजीनियरिंग करते हैं, ये कुछ कहाँ से वो रिक्वेस्ट करके देते हैं वगैरह वगैरह, उनके पास SLA है वगैरह. But it's like
Hmm.
AWS only gives all those documents, because AWS first of all prove that has to prove all these things to the people. So that is why ये बस एक
Hmm.
like a dashboard kind of a stuff है, like a bin kind of a service where all the documents will be there here. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have audit manager. So audit manager is again is like evidence collection, like you can always keep a track. So because nowadays see, you said like so one thing is having this compliance and all is just trying to prove a point to someone, saying that yeah, we are following all the things and stuff. But AWS
Hmm.
खुद बता देता है आपको ऑडिट मैनेजर में, अगर आपको if you just want to check it across any of the known framework or the rule or the compliance metric that you want to check, you can actually ये ऑडिट मैनेजर में पता चल जाता है, अच्छा हाँ आपके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में ये रूल सारे आपके हिसाब से फॉलो कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, आपका जो भी ISO है, सॉक कॉम्प्लायंसेस है, ये सारे आप फॉलो कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, ये ऑडिट मैनेजर खुद बता देता है, राइट? So this is an automated
Mhm.
evidence collection. See, it continuously verifies if your deployed resources meet specific frameworks, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So nowadays, why it is not so common is, you might not have heard about it, but it's not so common is because, see, abhi client kya hota hai? It's not like every client. See, it's not like every client is not the same. Many people, and you cannot always do the best thing for the clients. You also have to see your advantage. You have to see how where the organization gives you the advantage. Where how because देखो मैं अपना खुद बोलता हूँ, हमारा रिलेशनशिप AWS लोगों के साथ बहुत अच्छा है, right?
Mhm.
And trust me, अगर हम quarterly, let's say, if we are doing a bill of $15,000,
Mhm.
AWS हमको minimum $40 देता है. Sorry, forty
Okay.
परसेंट डिस्काउंट देता है.
डिस्काउंट देता है
डिस्काउंट
मैंने कहा
देता है.
कमीशन कमा रहे हो
हाँ, क्यों 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 बोलता है वो? ठीक
हम्म
है सूर्या. I mean, my leader is very close to them because he's working with them for the last 25 years. Same marketing team. वो मेरा लीडर का एडवांटेज है, पता नहीं क्या है, वो मार्केटिंग टीम वो 20 ईयर से वो AWS से हटा ही नहीं, 17 ईयर से, सॉरी, हटा ही नहीं.
वाह
Right. So I think my leader who is managing his vice president, he's doing it from the moment when AWS has launched a virtual machine. From then he was associated with them, then he moved later into our organization and all that stuff, but he was there. So that is why most of the company hires people from AWS GCPs, because they will have these partnerships with those people existing, right?